Drive past any Mennonite farm in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania in the middle of summer and look at the gardens. Rows of tomatoes, beans, and squash running fence to fence. Crops that have been producing on the same land for generations. No pesticide contracts. No monthly spray bills. No aphid damage visible on a single leaf. Now look at the garden store shelf in the same county. Rows of Raid and Ortho bottles with warning labels, application schedules printed in 6-point font, and prices that climb every season. And aphids that come back 2 weeks after every treatment because the spray was never designed to eliminate them. Those two realities exist side by side on the same roads in the same county. The difference is a spray that costs under $1, takes 5 minutes to mix, and kills every aphid it touches within 48 hours. Watch this before you mix anything. One detail in the application determines whether it works or does nothing at all. You spray your beans or tomatoes. The leaves look clean. Maybe you even see a few tiny bodies drop. You walk away thinking you've won. But the real enemy isn't what you see, it's what you can't. One female aphid hiding under a leaf can give birth to a dozen live young in a single day. No waiting, no eggs to hatch. And every one of those babies is already pregnant, carrying the next wave inside. In just 7 days, each one is ready to start the cycle again. That means a colony you wiped out on Monday is fully rebuilt by the weekend. You can't outpace them by sight alone. While you're celebrating, they're multiplying. All the while, they're feeding, sucking sap, pouring out sticky honeydew. That honeydew coats your plants, turning every leaf into a sugar buffet for fungus. Sooty mold creeps in, painting the leaves black, blocking sunlight. Photosynthesis drops. Your crop suffers. Even if you don't see a single aphid, the damage keeps building. The colony doesn't just bounce back. It never really leaves. You're not just fighting bugs. You're fighting a biological machine that replaces itself faster than you can react. And if your fix only clears what you see, you're falling for the oldest trick in the book. If the product solved the problem permanently, you would only need to buy it once. You grab the spray bottle. You hit every leaf you can see. The label promises to kill on contact, and it does. At least it looks that way. But the next morning you find aphids clustered on the tips you missed, or hiding on the undersides, or worse, thriving on your peppers now. What happened? The spray cleared your tomatoes, but the survivors scattered. Synthetic pyrethroids work fast, but they're built to shock the insect's nervous systems. That jolt sends the ones you didn't hit running off the treated stems into protected leaf folds or straight onto the next plant. You get a kill zone, and then you get a refugee camp. Eggs glued deep in stem joints or tucked under curled leaves stay untouched. The spray never reaches them. You wipe out the visible crowd, but the colony's real engine, the eggs, the hidden nymphs, keeps humming. Meanwhile, the survivors regroup. They don't just come back. They multiply in new places. The same colony you thought you destroyed last week is now feeding on something else in your garden. You're not solving the problem, you're spreading it around. Every time you spray, you're just shuffling the deck for the next round. And if these products truly stop the infestation for good, you wouldn't find yourself standing here bottle in hand year after year chasing the same enemy. The contradiction gnaws at you. If the fix works, why are you always back in the fight? There's a reason you keep reaching for that bottle. The U.S. garden pesticide market is worth billions every year, repeat sales, season after season. If your spray truly wiped out aphids for good, you'd only buy it once, and that would be the end of it. But a product that lets the colony rebuild guarantees you'll be back at the store, spring through fall, chasing the same problem. That's the loop. Meanwhile, there's a different approach, one that's been quietly passed along in Mennonite circles. Instead of feeding the cycle, this method cuts it off at the knees. Here's how it actually works. Soap spray doesn't poison aphids. It destroys them. The moment you hit an aphid with a fresh mist of potassium fatty acids, what's in pure Castile soap, the molecules sink right through that thin, waxy skin. The cell walls rupture. The soap strips away the waterproof coating, so the aphid dries out from the infeed. At the same time, the spray clogs the tiny breathing holes running along the insect's sides. No air, no water, no chance. It's a triple attack, and it only happens when the spray is wet and actually touches the bug. If you miss a spot or the spray dries before it hits, the survivors keep crawling. There's no lingering poison, no residue left behind. That's why pollinators and ladybugs are safe once the leaves dry. You get about 95% kill on adults within 48 hours at a 2% solution, right in line with what the studies show. But here's the catch. Resistance isn't coming. Aphids can outsmart a nerve poison. They can't outgrow a soap bubble. The result? If you hit them, they die. If you don't, they live. That's the whole story. Dish soap sits on your kitchen sink, so it feels like the obvious choice. But the bottle you reach for to scrub plates is loaded with things your plants can't handle. Synthetic detergents, perfumes, even antibacterial agents. The first time you spray, the leaves might look fine. But 24 hours later, brown edges start creeping in. By day 2, you see crispy patches and curling. That's the dish soap stripping away the plant's natural wax coating, not just the bugs. Pure Castile soap is different. It's made from potassium salts of fatty acids. No harsh additives. No fake scents. No degreasers. That's what you want. You can grab a bottle of Dr. Bronner's for around $10 at the grocery store. Each spray costs you less than $1. The ratio matters. 1 to 2 teaspoons per quart of water. Go lighter and the solution is too weak. Aphids shrug it off. Go heavier and you start burning your own crop. The sweet spot is tight. Miss it, and you're back where you started, disappointed, and still fighting the same bugs. And you're left wondering what went wrong. You can follow the recipe perfectly and still lose the fight before you even start spraying. 3 simple mistakes turn a sure thing into a wasted effort. First, the water in your bucket matters more than you think. Hard tap water, full of calcium and magnesium, reacts with the soap and leaves you with scum, not spray. The fatty acids clump. The solution goes cloudy and the active ingredient never reaches your aphids. If you use distilled or rainwater, the soap stays dissolved and lethal. That's your first checkpoint. Next, timing. If you spray in the heat of the day, the sun steals your chance. Droplets evaporate before they can do the job and you risk burning your leaves. The soap needs time to break through the bug's defenses. So you want the evening, cool, calm, and shaded. That's when the solution sits, soaks, and does real work. Finally, coverage. Aphids don't just hang out on the top of the leaves. They hide under, around, and deep in the folds. If you only hit what you see, you leave the colony's engine running. Every missed spot is a safe haven, ready to restart the cycle. Each of these mistakes is fixable, but skip one and you'll wonder why nothing changed. The difference between a clean crop and a lost one often comes down to these 3 details. Start low. Aim your spray at the base of the plant, right where the stems meet the soil. Aphids love those hidden, crowded joints. Work your way up stem by stem, pushing the nozzle into every dense pocket of new growth. Don't just miss the tops. Roll each leaf between your fingers. Hit the underside until you see a visible sheen, wet but not dripping. That's your coverage checkpoint. If you stop before every surface glistens, you're leaving survivors tucked in the shadows. Now, here's where most people lose the war. Eggs glued deep in the joints or curled in tiny leaf folds survive your first pass untouched. 3 days later, they hatch. Fresh nymphs crawl out soft and hungry, ready to start the cycle again. That's why you come back. 3 to 5 days after your first spray. You're not just cleaning up stragglers. You're intercepting the next wave before they hit reproductive speed. 1 more round, same interval, and even the heaviest infestation collapses. No nervous system tricks, no scatter effect. Just a system. Bottom up, full coverage. Repeat before the next generation matures. That's how you break the cycle. That's how you keep your crop clean season after season. Right now, your next crop is at stake. You can keep chasing aphids with bottles built for repeat sales. Or you can break the cycle, just like the Mennonite farming community already does. If the fix worked forever, you'd only need to buy it once. The rest is up to you.